Hello, my friends, my dear, lovely audiences. Welcome to the East-West Show. Jack Chow, your host, with lots of pleasure here, hosting this program for years. Every now and then we hear good news. And some news are even better, and the news are even better and better. It's getting better. Starting April, we see the two presidents of China and of the United States. They met together. Strategically, they put something, of course, first they put aside their differences. They let the differences stay there, be the differences, take care about that later. And they found the common grounds. There are lots of common grounds on which they decided they will probably go hand in hand. At least we'll make it together a peaceful world, which is good news.
We need it.
And followed by that, there is another big news that's been recently announced that in mid-May, to be precise, on the 14th and 15th, a big summit, a big summit conference is going to be held in Beijing, and it's named the Belt and the Road. All right, and it has background stories about the term, and it has lots of details in it talking about enhanced economy of whole Asia, including Europe or even Western Europe, altogether, stretching all the way to the end of the South Sea. That's almost half of the globe.
It's
almost half the globe, right?
Throughout Africa also.
Yes, so big, like I would say huge strategic plan that we will discuss about. Joining me in the discussion is my good friend, a reliable source of information, a backbone for the community, Mr. Ken Hemming.
Love to be here with your viewers and yourself, Jack.
Welcome to
it's
the
my
show.
honor. Thank you.
Mr. Ken Hemming, CPA for life, though, he's the author himself. And his book, 100 Words to Live By, Life Simple.
Yes.
Reverse it. Life is Simple, 100 Words to Live By. It's a kind of a biblical kind of a work that I would like to read a lot. And by the way, it is next to my pillow. I pick the words, I go into the details. His definition of words, oh, by the way, that's English and Chinese.
It is, yes.
Half and half.
That's so exciting.
Yeah. And he himself is a commentator, political commentator, invited to be on this show almost every Friday.
I appreciate being here so deeply.
And the pleasure is all mine to sit together with you. Okay, now, with the big strategic plan for the Belt and the Road that is created and announced by China, what is your first response when you heard about it?
Well, here's the cool thing. They call it OBAR, One Belt, One Road. But when I read about it, what I could see I could see a giant spider all over Beijing, and the tentacles of the spider web are going all over the world because it's all about roads and also oceanways, seaways, and bridges, various forms of infrastructure expansion, really almost throughout the world, including into South America. So I could just see this web, okay, all over the world. China had so much investment in itself, where we're almost overly invested in itself right now, and so there really weren't as many reasons to keep building things in China right now. So they're looking for better ways to make some money and do some contributions to functioning on planet Earth throughout the world, and they have a lot of technical ability in these areas. And so they're including in here what I read about. There was like maybe a million Chinese have gone to Africa on projects over there. A million, that's a lot. So it's real exciting, and there will be some successes, there'll be some failures, because any project, these are big products with billions of dollars in China and America and Japan, and that are a part of many groups that come together as an investment pool to create these projects. So it's pretty I'm not an expert on it, but reading it is overwhelming.
Yeah, sure. And I like your view of that as a web, web, as a networking of the whole I mean, Asia, Asian water, Europe, and Western Europe all together.
Yeah.
And it stretches all the way to even South Africa.
It does.
Right, like that. Okay. Now, it has, to my eye, the whole strategic plan. It has the current value.
Okay.
It has a midterm value.
Yes,
it
sir.
has the long range value.
Right.
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 For right now, even the United States, when President Donald Trump calls for jobs, and jobs.
Yes.
Right. You know, and that makes the definition that job, the word job, is the key for its economy growth.
It is. Yes.
Right, so-
People working.
Yes. The same philosophy applies to Asia. If Asia wants to prosper, you have to create jobs. Right. It's just amazing. I mean, just assuming with such a big network, the net, your term,
Yes.
stretches out with all the roads, including the land route.
Yes.
The land route includes the road and the railroads,
High-speed railroads.
high-speed railroads,
Very fast.
and fast trains.
Yes.
Right. And water routes
Absolutely.
and the ports.
Ports. A lot of investment
Lots
in
of ports.
upgrading
Yes,
the
of
capacity
course,
of ports.
and the bridges that connects islands,
Right.
or the mainland continent to the islands,
Yeah.
and bridges. Lots of that things.
Right.
And you're talking about in the logistic way to move it. Okay, now, by the way, last time I was doing this show with Mr. Chris Nibby. You know Chris Nibby,
I
right?
like Chris a lot.
Chris Nibby,
I
right?
respect him a lot.
Oh, he's a wonderful man.
He's my friend.
Right. And in his one of his masterpieces, there was one talking about internet, how internet changes China, right? He specifically emphasized on the fact that in some rural areas there are lots of native produce,
Okay.
right? Sitting there, waiting for nothing, waiting to be transported,
Sure.
and get rotten.
Yeah, that's sad.
And then well, the whole harvest is wasted because it's a time-sensitive thing.
That's a tragedy.
It's a year of labor is compacted into a very short few days.
Opportunity
right?
to
If you
ship.
do it, you succeed. If you you don't do it, if you fail to do it, and the whole year's crops is gone, like that. Now, with the internet, the helping the situation that buyers go to them
Oh, okay. Yeah.
because
Find them. Yeah,
because
that's good.
informations are out.
Right.
Right. Go to them
Yeah.
and find them a kind of like a distribution center.
Sure.
Build in the nearby area where people they make sure the native produce goes to the distribution center.
Yeah.
And then at the distribution center, people, buyers, the traders, the merchants, they come to the center to take to further dispatch, and then it's solved.
I am a fan of these huge distribution centers that large companies have, 200, 300, 400,000 square feet. And the organization of the distribution center, the efficiency of the processing and movement of whatever their product is miraculous.
Yeah,
And
you're
so
right.
I'm a fan of that. As a CPA, I've been able to walk through some of these, and I'm just in awe.
Yeah, Mr.
And I
Nibby.
love it.
Yeah, Mr. Nibby says that if it doesn't matter how much you produce, it does matter. Only matters how fast you distribute.
Yeah.
Right.
And not how much you produce, how much you sell.
Yeah, how much you sell.
Yeah, right.
And by selling, you are talking about transportation from
Right.
A to B.
Right.
Point A to point B. Without moving from A to B, you're just doing it for fun.
Well,
doing
see,
it for fun.
and that's also why I'm a big fan, Jack, of truckers. These guys that are driving these big trucks across America, I'm a fan of theirs. Number one, it looks like a pretty big thing to drive.
You're right,
But
you're
two, they're moving, they're making it
One
happen.
major issue that has pushed the American economy is our road network,
Yes.
highway network,
Yes.
freeway network, right?
yes.
Suppose if at the strategic plan that proposed initiated by China, if this same network covers all Asian countries. And then you get products transported from A to B, from B to C, C to D, going all the way. It's like a human body, right?
Right.
You have the blood vessels.
Right, exactly.
And in which blood moves.
Right.
Right, travel.
All the way to the little outsides of your skin. It's the outside of these continents.
If you do not have that to transform, I mean, to transport your blood, you're a dead body you're talking about.
So it's, you know, it's really, it's such a huge endeavor, and I'm sure it's not the only endeavor of that nature. In America, they talk about $1.3 trillion has already been invested in projects like this. And in America, we're talking about $1 trillion infrastructure activity too.
And we're still doing it.
Yeah.
And we're still on it, right? And just recently, I heard that the Department of Transportation, whereby Elaine Chao is the head.
Yes.
She was the former Secretary of Commerce.
Yes.
Now the Secretary of Transportation Department. They are putting a big efforts in that area to build up, to revive, to reactivate, to rejuvenate our railroad system,
right,
and our road system and our highway system, including our bridges.
Well, you know, and one little thing that can happen, because our roads are a little bit behind schedule in being, you know, modernized.
Yeah.
And say it gets modernized, and all of a sudden that maybe these trucks pick up 3 more miles an hour in safety, and that again accelerates the process of distribution to consumers.
Of course.
That's beautiful.
I give you an example. If you drive down south of 710 and you transit to 105,
yes, sir.
You'll see automatically like a dramatic change of the road condition that picks up your speed.
That's true.
As a matter of fact, you do not even feel that you're speeding.
No, because the 710 is bumpy and difficult, and the 105 is smooth as a new.
There's a narrow lanes, bumping surface, and sharp turns.
Scary to drive on the 710.
And then on 105, you see kind of broader lanes, and all the way street.
Yeah, you're right.
And well, you picking up the speed automatically.
Great example.
Now, China and Asia does see the same significance, right? That's why the big strategic plan of One Belt, One Road, or the Belt and Road.
Right.
Because we're talking about it. We're talking about the Belt and the Road.
Right.
Right? Okay. So under the One Belt, One Road strategy, you are stretching out with the help of China. Oh, by the way, AIB, Asian Investment Bank.
Yes, sir.
That's a big bank.
Right, yeah.
AIB, whose money they are playing now.
Yeah.
Right. So you're talking about hitting a nail on the head, which is the most important thing that I agree. I give my both hands.
These various investment banks, I don't think any country has they have voting rights. I don't think any country has over 50% in one bank, but they're, you know, up into the 40s and also down to the 5s. And so, yeah, that's
and China has a majority of the money in that bank.
In that bank.
And joined by sources, the money resources from other nations whatsoever, okay, who are all the beneficiaries of the whole plan, right? Okay, very good. Today with me, my friend Ken Hamming is sharing his excitement, and of course, my excitement with my audiences. And I believe that in this world, if you would do something together for a muscle contest, I would rather say, let's do something, see who can benefit to humankind
commercial
more,
strength,
right? So, and well,
not military.
Not militarily, right? Now, we take a short moment now. When we come back, we'll find out on the Belt and the road, and those countries, how they respond. See, we'll be right back. Hello, my dear audience, my lovely fellow Americans. Welcome back to the show. Jack Chow on the East West with my good friend Ken Hamming, a political commentator. CPA for life, though. He's a successful writer, and he is a philosopher in my mind. I argue with him quite a lot, but at the end of the day, we're friends like by the same mother. Like
yeah, last week we had a good debate.
We had a good debate. I was almost to strangle him.
Yeah, pretty close.
Over one issue. But, well, 5 minutes later, we drank beer.
That's right.
At one table. That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's the nature of life, right?
That's life.
That's the nature of life.
Great.
Okay.
In mutual respect.
Yeah, coincidentally, we echo on this issue today.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
We echo on this issue. It is because this is what? When you put up something like a motion, right? And you almost know before you're putting that, are you going to get a unanimous support?
Right.
Right? Yeah. Are you not? Or are you going to get more supporters than debaters or something like that?
Right, that's right, yeah.
Now, this thing, at the birth, even 3 years ago, that I knew already is going to be something that is mostly welcome.
Yeah, it started out
Most
first
people welcome.
improving the interior of China. So it was an internal effort in many, many projects. And then now it's going outside.
Yes.
The president of China said, go outside now. Let's move into the world.
Very good.
Because
very
the
good.
money and the talent's there.
Exactly. And with my friend Ken Hamming, we are talking about the response or the reaction of all the other countries in Asia, in Europe, including Western Europe, including, of course, South Asian Sea.
Yes.
They're all the beneficiaries, how they are responding or react. First, I would like to check about Russia. I know you don't like Russia a lot. Not me either.
I don't like their government, form of government. I like
the
people.
I know. I like the people.
Yeah.
I even sometimes Boruski.
Yeah, right.
Myself, right?
Yeah.
Good. So now,
Vodka.
vodka.
Yeah.
Oh, vodka, of
Right.
course, yeah. And Vladimir Putin is the first registered on the book that he's going to come. He's going to attend the summit.
Oh.
On the 14th and the 15th for both days.
Okay, good. Good.
So,
I hope it's good.
Okay. That probably will change the image of Russia. Do you think so?
Well, right now the image of Russia, at least in my mind, is extremely negative and extremely uncooperative on things that are important in the world now. Because at the United Nations, I think yesterday or the day before, there was a proposal, to sanction North Korea, to have some words about North Korea and their danger, and Putin, Russia vetoed it. And how can you? So he's Putin sort of, taking up with Assad in Syria, with North Korea, and also reaching out to Iran. And those are, you really wonder why these people pick their friends that way. You really do. But it's ideology or something. I don't have an answer, but I have a concern.
If I may go a little deeper.
Please do.
I have to peel off this layer to get to see the next one.
Yes, sir.
Right? The next layer says that on the surface, you're talking about there is always a competition on the global Earth.
Right.
Right? Of who is the strongest, or who be the leader, something like that.
Yes.
Right. Now, in order to make you the strongest one, you always take the advantage of issues.
Okay.
All right.
Good point.
In other words, you are grabbing the issue themselves to enlarge it, to stretch it, to go to your strategy of making yourself stronger. Now, the thing that will make a nation stronger in the Russian eye are the conflicts.
Well,
okay, exactly to the point that if the United States say yes, I say no.
Well, and that's...
If the United States says no, I say yes.
And that's what's happening in America right
That's
now.
why, yeah, that's why.
It
Okay,
is.
that's another issue we'll talk about. It's exactly the same thing, exactly the same philosophy.
It is.
From the left, the right, Democratic, and the Republican, they're doing the same thing. All right, forget it. Now, now, if the United States says yes, they say no. If the United States says no, they say yes. Okay, something like that to make a point. Now, under the same layer, there's another issue. There's another way of making you strong.
Okay.
All right. Instead of picking up those issues of conflicts, let's do what's better. What's betterment for everybody.
For everybody, win-win.
Win-win.
Exactly.
Right. I believe China pick up the latter. Right. Forget the conflicts.
Sure.
Forget the differences. Forget the argument. Forget the problems. Okay. Let's see what we can do to benefit everybody.
Yes, and the closer America and China cooperate with each other on every issue, the combination of those two fantastic countries is really strong.
At the end of the day, to my philosophy, at the end of the day, you have only 50% of friends if you do the former way by picking up issues to make your point. Because the moment you pick up one issue making one point, you are opposing yourself to the other side. Right? So by that you have only 50% of the earth, of the people supporting. Right? Now, if doing the China way means that we don't do it the former selection, the former way by selecting those conflict issues.
Right, and accelerating the negative rather than the positive.
Yes, all right, good.
Right.
We are picking up the positive thing to promote it to the extent that everybody accepts. And then you have 100%.
Well, you know,
am I right?
One thought that just went through my mind is that, you know, the more people do cooperate and can accept each other and can work together, then the other issues of conflict become less important.
You're right.
They really become less relevant, less important.
You're right.
And that's a beautiful thought, I think.
Okay. That is by logic, it works.
Yeah.
All right.
It works.
Time takes care of everything.
Yeah.
Time takes care of everything. If you want to stick on to the problem for years after years after years, and you are still on square one at the end of the whole thing. But the thing is that if you let it aside a little bit, let it cool down themselves, and like say 10 years later, when you look back, you don't see that as a problem already.
No, I hope you're right. The one exception that comes to my mind is strategic patience with North Korea hasn't worked very well. So we just can't let them get the ability to
of course.
It's got to be stopped
And of
somehow.
course, at the moment when Russia proposed their own, at the moment when China proposed their plan, right? And there is also there is always a possibility that the U.S. will keep an eye on that.
Absolutely.
Right? I'll be the whatever out of you guys, if you keep on doing so.
Right.
All right. And then with the aircraft carriers that are surrounding their area, within 2 hours we can be there. Right.
Yes.
Any moment. That's the third way of doing it. There's the Russian way. There's the United States way. There's the China way. I would say, of course, there is a UN, a United Nations way to sanction. Right. Okay. Now, probably this thing will quiet down a little bit.
Well, you know, like today, I'm so hopeful that China will help resolve the North Korea issue.
Oh, China is.
And
even
they're
this
working
morning.
on it. Well, they're on high
Even
alert
this
right
morning,
now,
yes,
and there's things going
even
on.
this morning, President Trump says, "I believe that this very moment, President Xi Jinping is working on it."
I believe that too, and that's what we need it. We need
Of course.
It's good for China too. I mean, it's for
But
all
good
of us.
for everybody.
because-
Come on.
Yes. it's good for
Suppose if
everybody.
some nuclear bomb explodes in North Korea,
Right.
it will trigger an earthquake in northeast China.
Oh yeah, no, that's.
And that earthquake would trigger a volcano to
Like
blow
dominoes,
to blow for the 775 years
Wow.
of accumulation.
Yeah, right. Wow.
That will, it's too dangerous to describe.
It's too dangerous, yeah.
Too dangerous. My dear audience, let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll continue. All right, stay with us. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the discussion about the Belt and the Road, and under the One Belt, One Road subject, which is a big strategic plan initiated by China, echoed by more than 20 countries.
Yeah, many countries.
Right? And they are registered to show up at the summit on the 14th and 15th in Beijing for 2 days in a row. Right? Some claim this summit is even bigger than the G20 of last year.
Well, let's go there, Jack.
In Hangzhou, let's go there.
Let's go.
Right? Okay. Oh, you cover my
okay.
traveling. I go, right? Because you make more. Okay. Anyway, there's lots of comment out there, including those extreme media.
Yes.
They kind of like, oh yeah, good. They give a big smile about this because it goes no partisanship, no political.
It should be bipartisanly supported.
No political element in it.
Yeah.
Just the money, economy.
Yeah. One potential difficulty I can see is, there's a lot of again, just in the last week in France, there were 2 more terror attacks, people killed, by radical Islamists, and so countries are getting more protection, feeling more protective of themselves. And China has been sending a lot of workers to places,
yes,
on that. And so there can be some resistance to the other workers coming in where, like I like to see people of the country, whatever country, maybe do the work, and still China and everybody else can make profits. So that's just one little issue, because you need to be welcomed with your people to do the work. And there's a little bit of resistance.
Yeah, sure. Of course, if you're in a country, you can portray yourself as an enemy. They're enemies or they're friends.
Well, it's not enemy. It's welcome or not welcome.
I know.
They're talking about a high-speed rail a project in California as part of the OBOR. And so I don't know. I'd like Californians to do the work, or a combination therein. It's all.
Whoever does the job is a different issue.
Yes,
the core issue is that we do not have a condition for the high rail construction because of the land. Very
hard to get a straight line anywhere.
Of course. In China, it's the government land.
Yeah.
The government can make a plan. They draw a line from here to there, all the way.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Without having to zigzag.
I like that. Yes.
And
that's
here
efficient.
in this country, you're talking about going this
Mountains,
Mr.
valleys,
Mr. White land, Mr. Brown's land, Mr. Blue's land, Mr. Green's land, or whatever.
Right.
And you have to do this.
Right.
When you are doing this, where you're not talking about high speed.
So there are certain countries it's easier to do it in.
Yes.
Others more difficult.
It is system related.
Yeah.
It's the system defined projects. You don't want a universal to be applied to all conditions, all countries. No.
Right.
However, we have other routes, right? You can do tunnels.
Yes,
the tube. They're talking about a vacuum tube.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
You can do that.
Well, in a vacuum tube, speed can be very, very fast.
Yeah, very fast. You're talking about in the capsule,
no resistance.
in a vacuum pipe,
right?
And it sucks all the way.
Yeah.
Next minute you're in San Francisco.
Yeah, well, that's true.
Who knows? Anyway, all right. So for that, if somebody walks in like China and say, "Hey, Mr. Brown, here's the money. Let me do the job." Of course, Brown probably would knock his head.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Jerry Brown, my friend.
No. Oh yeah, I know you like him a lot.
Oh, so much.
Okay, now, from a historical point of view, it may look at this way. You may look this way, that during the first millennium, all right, at the turn of the first millennium, from BC to AC, you're talking about the Han Dynasty, where the Silk Road started.
The Silk Road,
Yeah.
that's what they call it too.
Yeah, the Silk Road,
Yeah,
right?
I
Started.
love the term.
That's
'cause
the
it's
creation.
Just a sweet
That's
term.
the creation of the Silk Road,
Yes.
of the first
Silk Road economic belt.
of the first millennium,
Yeah.
right? And then in the second millennium, started with Christopher Columbus,
Okay.
right? Who sails across the ocean
Right.
and discovered the ocean blue, and
Yes.
sailed the ocean blue, discovered this beautiful land.
Yes.
Starting at that point, and then later, much later, let's say 4 or 500 years later, no, 400 years later, in the Ming Dynasty, China fleet sailed all the way to South Asian Sea to the very end. So that is known. Along the road, they spread everything,
Right.
including merchandise.
Right. Unbelievable routes
Tea,
of commerce.
teas, everything.
Incredible.
Right. Incredible.
Incredible.
All right. And then that's called the water route.
Yes. Okay.
The water route.
Right.
And the land road, the land route, and the water route. Something like that. Well, the land route and the water route, that's the water route represent the second millennium.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Now, we're still at the door of the third millennium.
Yes.
And yet, China, for the third time, started the same thing. However, this time,
That's
it's
true.
the land route and water route combined.
Right.
The land route starting from, instead of Xi'an, that time,
Okay.
when it first started, it was starting from Xi'an, now Beijing.
Okay.
Right?
Right. From
Right.
Beijing, yeah.
Starting from Beijing all the way to across Asia, all Russia, all the way to Europe, and all the way to Hamburg
It's a long ways. Right.
of Germany.
Yes.
And then the water route from south to the south, all the way, all the South Asian countries, it's like say Vietnam, Burma,
yeah.
Thai,
Right.
Laos,
Yeah,
Sri
Cambodia,
Lanka, so on and so forth.
Right. Right.
All the way down to the islands, to the South Asian Sea islands, altogether. Now, you're talking about the second millennium, the water route succeeds the first, and the third succeeds all the two, combining them all together, make it like a ring. Do you think that's a ring?
It's all about connectivity.
Yes.
Being connected
Uh-huh.
in the most efficient way manner and possible, and there's tremendous progress being made. And the progress being made now, the future is inconceivable as compared to today, because it's going to be something even better.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
of
so,
course.
and the world's just shrinking. The world is shrinking, and we're becoming more interdependent on each other. I'm not a globalist, okay? I am an America first guy, but the global connectivity is very important for each individual country.
One thing for sure, the world is getting smaller and smaller. That's a condition.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
That's a condition.
Yeah.
And when I first came, writing a letter to China takes about 2 weeks,
See, that's
both ways.
That's very interesting.
Both ways.
Yeah.
If they wasted no time writing back right away,
Yeah.
right, and dropping in the mail, and takes about 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Now, probably 2 nanoseconds,
Your Snapchat, whatever.
right away.
Yeah. Well, how are you, dear?
Yeah.
Over in
Right
Beijing.
away. So the world is getting smaller and
so-
smaller. And then in your term, it's all about connection.
It is.
It's all about connection. Once you connect people, you're successful. People can negotiate, can talk about whatever they want to talk.
Most people are reasonable. Most people are
Oh,
reasonable.
I believe so.
Yeah.
I believe
and
so.
so that's why the tighter exposure to each other, the more exposure to each other, the happier the planet will be. Because it's all about people. With politics doesn't get involved, with egos don't get involved, just people get involved.
I'm amazed by the fact that starting from the Silk Road to the Water Road, and then of the One Belt, One Road, one gets better than the other, it goes better and better and better.
And there's no limit to the progress.
And I'm so proud. It's all initiated by China.
Yeah.
And I still take pride in China, right?
Yeah.
Very good.
Absolutely.
So, my dear audience, today we're once again talking about the One Belt, One Road. The discussion is named The Belt, The Road. We're seeing the belt and the road. And joining me is my friend Ken Hemming. Mr. Ken Hemming is really a big brother to this show, as well as to me myself.
I'm honored.
And we're sharing his positive mind, looking at this whole networking project that, in his term, is all about connection.
Yes, it is.
Right. So, stay with us. When we come back, we'll find out what to expect with this. Stay with us. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the show. It's a discussion on the East-West show talking about the One Belt, One Road, the belt and the road that we're talking about. With me is my good friend, Mr. Ken Hemming. And he's a philosopher, he's a book writer, and he is a dear brother to this community. He's shedding lights on the new project initiated by China that is called One Belt, One Road.
Yes, sir.
Okay, we're talking about the belt and the road today. With the belt going all the way landways to Western Europe, and from there on going southway, half landway, half waterway, all the way to the end of the South Ocean Sea. It connects the whole Asia, Europe, even Western Europe, like a ring.
Yeah,
right?
It does. It does.
Like a ring. And in Ken's term, he calls it a net.
It's a net.
It's a
network
huge
of
network.
Connectivity. Yes.
All right, good. Okay, now, even amongst the nations of Asia, with that kind of road conditions improved and built, with a project enhanced with the money, with the investment money, we probably can see products moving faster, even within their circle.
Right. Absolutely. Quicker and more effective.
Sure. Speaking of ties.
Yes.
Speaking of ties.
And this tie has flags of all over the world. That's why I wore it today, because we're talking about connectivity and OBOR, and it's beautiful.
You're prepared.
Yes.
You're prepared.
I wear things for a
That's
reason.
a one road, one silk, one belt, one silk tie.
It is. It is exactly right.
One belt, one road, silk tie.
That's what it is.
All right.
Okay, right by my heart.
And for example, Sri Lanka has their best cotton.
Okay.
Right? America has their best textile technology.
That's true.
Equipment too.
To process cotton.
To process the cotton.
Right.
And China has 1.3 billion consumers of cotton.
That's right. That's right.
I'm thinking, if this ring gets the United States involved, I'm kind of still thinking about the United States getting involved.
Of course.
I really wish we want to get involved. Right? If this thing gets the United States involved, it will benefit the whole mankind. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think your point is that China can be involved, the United States can be involved. That doesn't mean they have to be in competition.
No.
They can be enhancing each other.
Of course, yeah.
And that's the whole key. Attitude.
Yeah.
Which is everything.
There are many of these examples that we can even think of right at the top of my head this very moment. Germans are known for their heavy-duty equipment.
Right. They're brilliant.
All right. Down south, deep in India, you have the forest.
Yes, sir.
Right? And then United States has the best management technology.
Okay.
High tech.
Yeah.
Management high tech.
Right.
And
that's
China
very important.
has a huge consumption of pulp. You know the pulp, paper pulp?
Yes.
The pulp, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now, if the four put together, German heavy-duty equipment moves all the way down to the forest, South India. And U.S. management comes in.
Right.
And the pulps are
Plans it
produced.
properly, makes it
And
effective.
China uses it.
Yeah.
There are lots of paper to be made
Right.
up. And then that benefits even United States, Western Europe, China, India, and the whole thing.
It's all about cooperation.
All about
And
cooperation.
vision of brilliant men like yourself.
All right.
Vision is really the truth.
Yeah.
Innovation is kind of the big word right
Innovation.
now.
And no, synchronization.
Yeah, absolutely.
They can synchronize everything. Information, resources, equipment, technology, and even money.
Bring it all together.
Bring it all
That's
together.
That's just like these distribution sites.
You're right.
You bring it all together, make it move in a smooth way, and you just got to get egos out of the way.
So far, we haven't heard the response from United States government level
Okay.
or yet.
Okay.
So, would you speculate that United States would welcome this, or just be a bystander,
Well, I think exactly.
or get involved?
The point that you made earlier that President Xi and President Trump appear to have doable chemistry with each other. They're focused on the positive, how we can benefit each other, rather than
Donald Trump did
differences.
say this morning, "I like his chemistry."
Oh yeah, no, he said no. I think they had.
He did say
chemistry.
yes.
And we talked before in a prior show about that Mr. Trump bought President Xi to his personal home in Mar-a-Lago, which is a more warm and friendly atmosphere than a formal White House, okay, a formal government place. So I think that softens all things too. And they were supposed to have two 15 to 30 minute conversations alone with the interpreters, and they were each 2 or 3 hours.
He
was fabulous.
He says, quote unquote, it was scheduled for 15 minutes,
Yeah.
turned out to be hours after hours and after hours
Just kept
of talking.
Yes.
And him and I, talking.
And you could see the smiles on both Trump and Xi's face at the dinners they had and the meetings. They look like friends. That's what we want.
Exactly like what we can guess from for this moment, though, that United States should give a welcome to such a strategic plan.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
And for better, they even, well, in some areas, they want to get involved.
Right.
Because American technology, American information can serve a big chunk in this whole strategy of moving things faster.
Right, yeah.
Am I right?
It can. So, and then, before there was all this stuff about Trump likes Putin and all that sort of stuff. That's so ridiculous, all right? And so, now, unfortunately, we have tensions with Russia. But the tensions with Russia are just kind of minimized with cooperation with China.
You're right. And also, the other side of the coin is that by philosophy, you're talking about priorities, right? And for the issues, for the conflicts that are not prioritized,
Yes, sir.
over time, it will reduce themselves.
That's true.
Do you think so?
Yeah, that's where they become less important.
Less important.
Right.
So?
Because any instant reactions are more chance of negativity than evolution to solution. Okay.
And also another big point by philosophy, if you combine or reference the Eastern philosophy, you will find out the comparison between Western and Eastern philosophy lies in the fact that Western philosophy wants a result that very minute.
Okay.
Whereby you're talking about Eastern philosophy, you say working for the best, the process self is the result.
Okay.
Right.
I like that.
Pushing and pushing, as long as they remain the way as it is now. And we're pushing, they're producing, we're pushing, we're trying to shrink them. They try to expand. The pressure and the resistance itself is the result.
Yeah, well,
Let the result go for 100 years.
and that's patience versus impatience,
Yes, of
tolerance versus intolerance.
All right, tolerance,
That's-
right?
tolerance
And
is
let
huge.
let the resistance and the pressure
Yeah.
go on for 100 years.
Yeah.
And during the 100 years, the world will be a lot stronger.
Absolutely.
A lot be stronger. And then we look back at that, oh, come on, piece of cake.
Yeah, right. You look
Things like
back.
that. Yeah.
That's right.
Right. So, after all, altogether, we're talking about very positive millennial
This
issue.
is huge.
And I had a discussion with a friend of mine 2 days ago, and he calls it the One Belt, One Road
Yes.
millennium issue.
Okay.
A millennium issue.
Yeah, it's one of the biggest stories of the
Yeah,
millennium.
one of the biggest
Yeah,
stories.
Probably it could have an impact far and broad on planet Earth.
You're right.
So
you're
that's
right.
that's why it's a millennial
Yeah.
millennium
It's a
issue.
millennial issue
Yeah.
for the betterment of
I
mankind.
like that.
Right. Nobody in their right mind will go against it.
And unfortunately, some people aren't in their right mind.
Of course,
That's
of
exactly
course,
the problem
of course,
we
of
have.
course, of
Yeah,
course.
right,
And then
I
is
like
our common enemy.
right.
Right.
And there are common enemies.
Right, sure. Say, for example, the terrorists.
Yeah,
Paris was attacked 2 days ago,
yeah. And today.
and today
Another
too.
one.
Yeah, another one, right?
Very sad.
And they don't care about how you promote for mankind. They want to destroy mankind.
Yes,
and
they
they
do.
declare themselves to be enemy of the mankind.
Enemy of humankind.
Except them. Except them.
Except them.
Those bunch of animals, I believe it is welcome. It is a strategy welcome by the global Earth.
Very sad. I feel sorry for Paris today.
Okay, very good.
Very much.
All right. Anyway, there are bad things. There are bad things. Let's hope in 100 years they will die out themselves.
In that we're here to see it.
Okay, very good. So, my dear audience, today we're talking about once again
That's
the Belt and the Road. We're discussing the One Belt, One Road strategy initiated by China, for which a summit is going to be held in Beijing on the 14th and 15th, middle part of May. So the May 2017 is really, really a special month that it may lead the world in the May way,
Yes.
right, in the May way, to better the mankind. So
Can't wait for that.
we
summit.
can't wait for that to happen, and we can't wait to fly to Beijing.
I'm ready. I'm packed.
Very good, you're back. Okay, my dear audience, thank you for watching. To my friend Cam, thank you for sharing.
And I think you spread a great message today.
Thank
Dan.
you.
Thank you.